been mad. I know I've been mad. Like
Dark Side of the Moon was an expression of political, philosophical, humanitarian empathy that was desperate to get out.
Dark Side, I think it felt like the whole band were working together. It was a very creative time. We're all very open as well.
I think because we still had a common goal, which was to become rich and famous.
The ideas that Roger was exploring apply to every new generation. They still have very much the same relevance as they had.
we run back and drop it a bit. Yeah, you can if you like. Just turn it down a bit.
I think one of the successes of Dark Side is the fact that actually it's very rich. There are a lot of songs, a lot of ideas all compressed onto the one record. I can clearly remember that moment of sitting and listening to the whole mix all the way through and thinking, my God, we've really done something fantastic here.
I think it has the all-time record. Constantly on the charts for nearly 750 weeks, about 14 years.
It was a huge album, and huge not just in terms of its sales, but in terms of its influence. This was where underground music, progressive rock, whatever, really went mainstream.
It was a record that had lots of traditional pop values. You could sing along to these songs, but it also was the kind of thing that took you places if you wanted to listen to it in a darkened room.
It may very well be the ultimate concept record because the concept is there, the songs are there, the spaces and the music are there, but it doesn't take away any of the imagination.
After Sid went crazy in '68 and Dave joined, we were, all of us, searching, fumbling around, looking for, well, where do we go now? Because here was the guy who starts producing all these songs and was the sort of heartbeat of the band.
Sid cast a long and large shadow over events. I think that the band were very impressive to keep going, actually, after a lot of their main creative drive. I mean, it was not something you'd choose, is it? I mean, you wouldn't sit around and say, okay, let's get rid of our songwriter.
After Sid had gone, the music became more kind of soundscapes than songs.
You have to work to your strengths, and it's a very good thing that we couldn't write singles. We might have not have done some of the interesting work that we did.
Once Sid was out of the picture, the Floyd just went glacial. They just let it all spread out. When I saw the Floyd for the first time, it was the summer of '68. It was actually the first American tour with David Gilmour. And they were just extraordinary. You know, it was Let There Be More Light, Set the Controls for the Heart of the Sun. It was total space rock. I started falling out of love with that, some of that psychedelic noodling stuff.
We were still then playing a lot of instrumental work, if you like, and that would be half the album.
But we were always searching for a direction.
Fighting a little bit between wanting to push boundaries back a little bit and move forward in an experimental way, but also to retain melody. When you get to metal, quite clearly echoes shows the direction that we're moving in.
The rest of metal, as I recall, was songs. And so, the flip side was a 20-minute piece, A, and so it was a construct, and B, it was beginning of all the writing about other people.
Passing in the street, by chance two separate glasses meet, and I am you and what I see is me.
It was the beginning of empathy, if you like. Two strangers passing in the street, by chance two passing glances meet, and I am you and what I see is me. There's a sort of thread that's gone through everything for me ever since then, and had a big eruption in Dark Side.
You have to remember the context of the time. This was the height of glam rock. There was, Mark Bolan in T-Rex and David Bowie with Ziggy Stardust peddling their sort of pop fantasies. And the Floyd came along with an album that was about these weighty themes.
He created a story, he created basically a theater piece about what it was like to live in the modern world. All four of us were there, and there was a discussion about putting the album together and making it into this themed, what is now called a concept album.
There are a number of things that impinge upon an individual that colour his view of existence. There are pressures that are capable of pushing you in one direction or another, and these are some of them, and whether they push you towards insanity, death, empathy, greed, whatever, there's something about the Newtonian view of that physics that might be interesting, and maybe there could be this is what this record is about.
It was one of those really good moments that most bands do experience, where everyone is on side and everyone likes the idea, and there's some sort of agreement as to more or less who's going to do what.
Dark Side of the Moon started in a rehearsal room in Bermondsey, I think, that belonged a warehouse belonged to the Rolling Stones, where we did some sort of jamming, writing, whatever you want to call it.
I'm not sure how much writing happened there. Let's play E minor and A for an hour or two. And, that sounds all right. That'll take up 5 minutes.
Ideas just came up, just sort of jamming away in these rehearsal rooms. Obviously the lyrics Roger brought in
because he had things to say, and it was the first time that he wrote all the lyrics.
Roger was our sort of pushing, driving force.
The way Dark Side of the Moon articulates some sense of early adult disenchantment is absolutely timeless.
I listened to it again recently, and it always amazes me that I got away with it, really, because it's so sort of lower sixth, breathe in the air, don't be afraid to care. In fact, I think within the context of the music and within the context of the piece as a whole, people are prepared to accept that simple exhortation, to be prepared to stand your ground and attempt to live your life in an authentic way.